With Social Security benefits losing buying power over time, how do I protect my standard of living?
Yeah. The average retiree doesn't have, here in America, doesn't have a lot more money outside of Social Security.
Yeah,
And so that's one of the problems. You end up with this situation where, you're retired, you're maybe okay, but you didn't have a lot of other assets. And then your Social Security is effectively buying less and less. Even though you might be getting a raise on Social Security, it's not keeping up. You
yeah.
know,
There's a study came out this week was that was saying that if you had Social Security starting in 2000, you've lost 36% of your buying power. On this is for the average Social Security benefit, and you need an extra $500 a month to kind of get back to just having that same standard of living.
Yeah, and so that's where, of course, your assets come into play, right? And that's why people save beyond Social Security for the most part, although that is not true for the majority of Americans. It's true
Yeah,
for the majority of our clients, but that's why they're our clients. And so, if you have assets, you have to have those assets out there invested. And this is what's kind of interesting to me. When the markets become difficult, like
yeah,
they have been, I mean, we're at the same place we were last May, but to get there, we had to go through these huge gyrations,
hmm,
nearly a 20% range from high to low that we've had, especially on an intraday basis in that 1 year period. And people look at that and say, wow, that's just too much. I could go over here and do this CD, or I could buy this treasury, and make money, and I don't have to worry about that. But when you look at the ability for that CD or that treasury to keep up with inflation long term,
hmm,
it's not going to happen,
yep,
especially after taxes. And so the way that you keep up with inflation to supplement your Social Security and to keep your standard of living is to be in the stock market and to be in the real estate market. Those are two areas that have historically shown the capabilities of keeping up with inflation. So maybe your current home, and you get down on your assets, and your Social Security isn't buying as much, and maybe you cash out the home and move to a cheaper place, and then that gives you the money. So maybe you have enough assets, you don't have to do that, right?
yeah.
Everybody's got a different situation, but that's those are the two areas that, in my opinion, you want to invest in, even with all the hassles that we've had here, in the last almost year and a half now.
Yeah, Social Security was meant as a safety net, and it's not really meant to keep up with inflation. It's just
Yeah.
supposed to keep you out above the poverty line, and over the years, it's kind of degraded.
Yeah, and I would suspect that as Social Security gets tighter and tighter, because so many people are living longer, and so less, there's used to be about 10 to 15 people working for every one person receiving Social Security. I believe that's 2 to 3 people working now for every one person receiving Social Security. So that's what makes Social Security tight, because it's a pay in and pay out system,
Hmm.
and they're going to make the retirement age later. They already have. It went from 65 to 67. That could go to 68 or 69. But they also might mess with the COLA and
Yep.
make that less, and maybe even make it means tested so that you get less COLA if you make more money, or who knows how they'll figure that out. But um, so yeah, I would think that means even more importance on saving money, both during and before retirement, if you can, and then continuing to invest at least some of that in kind of the stocks and real estate area that has the ability to keep up and exceed inflation over a longer period of time. So it's a pretty good question.